Professor Layton and the Eternal Diva. I've honestly never played any of the Professor Layton games, or at least during the time I made this review, but I do know of them. From what I know, it's a series of puzzle-based games that includes a plot line with the professor solving mysteries. I've only heard good things about it so far, and its popularity has gone to the point where Layton managed to get a crossover with Phoenix Wright. So with that said, this review will be from the perspective of a newcomer with little knowledge from the franchise. Also, I would like to give a shout out to not only Luna Jackson, whose amazing support on Patreon got her this review, but she also asked me to give another shout out to her friend Riku, who suggested the movie. So Riku, this one is also for you. But now that Layton has found a mystery in a movie, will he be able to solve it in a spectacular fashion? Or is this another case of a bad film based on a video game? Let's find out. The story. As a video game series that's based around solving puzzles, it's a natural decision to turn this into a detective movie. But what ended up becoming is something much more than that. To start off, I actually feel very welcomed as a newcomer, since it began with a brief description of the franchise. And I don't mean the plotline of the games, I mean literally what is Professor Layton in general.
It started as a game. Professor Layton has had many exciting adventures, selling 7.3 million copies to fans all over the world, as Professor Layton makes the leap from game to movie.
When we enter into the actual movie, that's when the spirit of the games truly emerge, cleverly integrating the puzzle-solving mechanics as obstacles that the characters have to go through to progress the plot. The story itself, however, is based around the lost land called Ambrosia, which the movie manages to really give it life, complete with its own legends, history, and mysteries that's said to give people eternal life. And that is what brought everybody together in this movie, to earn eternal life. But then when everything starts to reveal itself, that's when the film suddenly becomes both really epic and heartwarming, explaining the whole purpose of what's going on and some of the characters' intentions with a few unexpected twists. The one thing I will say about the story that's not really a flaw, but more of a precaution to some, is that this is a really complex movie. With all the puzzle solving, everything about Ambrosia, the purpose of the characters, and more, it really does ask a lot to take in and to connect the dots. I'm not saying it's impossible to follow, but there is a good chance that you'll feel like Luke and might have to take some notes on what's going on.
The Eternal Kingdom, Ambrosia.
But like Layton himself, you can only just stare with amazement by the complexity and the cleverness that was put into the story. The animation. This is one of the very few animated features that uses both traditional and computer in order to make this movie. Although it's debatable on which medium was more used in this film, it still manages to mix the two pretty well. They don't look out of place when both mediums are together, and one doesn't overshadow another. It knows when it's the right time to do some CGI, mostly when the movie needs a master shot to show some of the extraordinary locations. And this is just how the movie handles it. What it did with it looks absolutely gorgeous. The locations and giant contraptions are very refined and creative in design. They look even better when you see it in action. As for the traditional animation, it's more of what you normally expect from the anime style. There's nothing too special going on here, but does have its moments when it elevates its level, like when Janice would have her singing moments. The only actual issue I would have is with the character designs. I know it's directly from the games, but for something from Japan, the characters look really simple and chibi-like rather than the detailed and partly realistic look that the country is known for. But like I said before, the movie still manages to blend the two mediums very well, resulting in great looking animation that requires some puzzle solving and some epic action. The characters. Although the movie itself is very complex, the characters are actually rather simple to understand by comparison. The biggest issue with the cast is that most of them were written in a one-dimensional manner. Not really having any depth to them, they only carry one character trait or a purpose to why they are in here. Like, Professor Layton is the renowned mystery-solving genius that's also a gentleman, Luke is the assistant,
I am his apprentice, number one!
Whatever, that wants to be like Layton, Janice is the one that brought them into the case, Whistler is the composer that just found himself in this whole mess, Emmy's purpose is to answer some questions regarding what happened, Inspector Clamp is more the comic relief, and most of the rest are there with their own selfish reason to why they want eternal life.
I shall remain beautiful for all of time.
Speak for yourself. I've only got 6 months to live.
I need eternal life, if I'm ever to get my strength back.
However, I'm not saying that they're bad characters, they are likable in their own right, and I do understand that the movie did this to make the puzzles the true stars, it's just that they don't have that complexity as much as the story does. But there are two big exceptions in this case. Unfortunately, I can't say who they are since that would be major spoilers. What I can say though is that when everything reveals itself, these two characters present all about themselves and why this is going on. Honestly, their relationship is what really makes this film go off in a way that's both heartwarming and heartbreaking. They are the ones that actually drive the movie from beginning to end. The characters may not really offer a lot in this movie, but one thing's for sure, you will definitely feel for them. Professor Layton and the Eternal Diva is hands down one of the greatest and smartest films based directly on a video game. With fantastic animation, likable and heartfelt characters, and phenomenally clever storytelling, this is one of the best examples to take a video game and adapt it into a full-length animated feature that still keeps the spirit of the games. I don't even have to say that Professor Layton fans must watch this, but even if you don't play the games and you love movies like The Great Mouse Detective, then you should seriously go see it. Another mystery solved. Turns out that this movie is actually the kind that would get the AniMats seal of approval. Hey guys, this is AniMat. Once again, I would like to thank both Luna and Riku for giving me the opportunity to go and check out Professor Layton and the Eternal Diva. And I gotta say that after watching it, I really now do have that feeling to go and play the games actually. Because if the games are actually like this, where you have this incredibly interesting storyline where you have to solve this mystery, and like the puzzle solving techniques is what you have to do, and like you gotta be in the shoes of Professor Layton, then I'm sold. I really want to try this out. I know there are some games, so I might have to marathon it, but holy crap, like, this really does sound like a game that's right up my alley. I do like to solve puzzles myself, so this is definitely one of the major brain teasers I really gotta try out. So with that said, I just want to mention that if you guys would like to be like Luna and you want to get some awesome rewards like this one and tons more on the side while also supporting me and my videos at the same time, then all you have to do is go to patreon.com/animat. And also, now that I got all that done and said, it's time that we go and move on to the next review in the animation hat. So, I just want to say that if you guys would like to suggest me an animated film you would like me to review and I would put in the animation hat, then write me an email at animatsreviews@gmail.com. Alright, so let's get to it. So, oh, that's quick. Not even a mess either. So, the next review shall be... It's a tiny piece of paper. Ooh. Ooh, this is gonna be a pretty interesting one. Oh, I actually really wanted to check this one, actually. Well, we're gonna be heading down to another Ghibli flick. But with this one, I gotta say, from what I recall, it is one of the more natural ones. But at the same time, it's also one of the more gorier ones. Well, not gory, but I should say more bloodier, I guess. I don't know, does that hint work?